guys, it's
Lauren Daisy.
Welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing, I guess it's kind of a part two to my Riverdale video that I made before, because that was kind of about the first part-ish of basically all of season 6, and now this is like the last episodes that aired after that. So I think there's been about 5, maybe 4 or 5 since I made that video, so including the season finale. So we're going to talk about those today. I'm super excited. Listen, okay, I've decided I've never had shame. Okay, I've never had shame about loving Riverdale. You know, I'll say that shit with my whole chest, but I felt like I'd still like been enjoying it less. Like that was just the facts, but no more. I've let it go. I'm at a point now that I understand that it's utter lunacy, and that's okay. And I don't expect anything from it. I just go for the pure enjoyment and the love of the characters, and I have a great time. This show is great. I don't even care. Is it written well? Debatable. Well, the acting is good. I'm not even gonna shame the acting. The acting is banging. And the plot line's good. Debatable. Are the relationships good? At the moment, kinda, but debatable. But do I sit down every Monday or whenever it comes out, and do I have a good time? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And that is good enough for me. So let's get into Archie. I feel like in my last video I was all like, why do they just send Archie, bless his heart, to do everything? But I feel like now, literally since I said that, it's almost like they heard me, because now he's just kind of taking a little bit of a back seat. Not properly, but it's kind of been nice to see other people kind of come to the forefront a bit more. Him and Betty, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think they're so sweet. I think they're so cute. The fact that Archie's like, what was it called? The Sweet Thereafter, or the Sweet Hereafter? The fact that like his version of that was him, like with Betty and their kids, I thought was so freaking cute. I'm a Barchie gal, I can't lie. I thought that was really sweet. Like in the last one, and just like a bit now I was talking about Archie, and yeah, in the last one I kind of did each individual character, but I feel like that was because there was a lot more to talk about, because I'd like caught up a lot. Whereas now, like, they're all kind of a group unit and they're all intertwined in each other's storylines, which I do really like. So we're just gonna go, I was making notes like as I was watching them, so we're kind of just gonna go through and yeah, talk about them. So we had Tony and Fang's wedding. I said in my last video I don't really care for Fangs too much, and I'll be honest with you, that hasn't changed. It was fine. I think Cheryl officiating was really weird, but then that's Riverdale, isn't it? Like nothing's completely normal. Literally the full-on love of her life, she has to officiate her wedding. Like how heartbreaking is that? Veronica's weird performance at the rehearsal dinner literally had me watching through my hands. The second-hand embarrassment was horrendous. When all the different characters started to die, I was like I knew they weren't all gonna die, because that would just be like ridiculous. Like that was never gonna happen. But even in the moment I was like, oh my god, like what is happening right now? I love the girlies. I love any time we get to see like the girlies together. Like even in the cringy kind of song they did for Tony's bachelorette party, I just loved it. I thought it was great. I love to see them all together. So I do wish Tony had been there as well when they were like doing all the rituals and stuff. But I did like that we got to see some girl power. And just the look on their faces when they were like, we're gonna have to try and go in, we're gonna have to like die, go into heaven and then come back, or whatever it was, or like your soul is just gonna go into heaven to try and bring them back. So yeah, and oh my god, Veronica having to go in for Archie, like I feel like they're sowing the seeds for a Archie comeback, and it's just not doing it for me. I've never seen the chemistry. I will never see the chemistry. Like she literally went in there and it was Archie with Betty and the kids. like come on now, let it go. And he basically said like that there he has everything he ever wanted, like, and that's literally Betty and the kids. Like, I thought it was so cute. And like, if they put Veronica and Archie back together now, like after all this, like it is purely fan service. Like it is purely fan service, because what makes sense is for Betty and Archie to stay together. I actually really liked the idea of, so when Cheryl went to go get Tony, Anthony was dating Timmy, who is like the leader of the rival gang, or like the Ghoulies maybe, like that kind of thing. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was such a cute idea. You know, like a rival, kind of like almost like a weird, like a twist on Romeo and Juliet, like rival, instead of rival families, it's like rival gangs. And yeah, I thought that was really sweet. Cheryl going to visit Jason and Polly actually pulled on my heartstrings, like big time, big time. Like, I just thought it was so sad. Like, to be honest, I never really cared for Jason that much. Like, I always thought their relationship was a little bit weird, like his and Cheryl's, but just seeing her face, and like Cheryl, when anything that ever happens with Cheryl, I just love her, and I just want her to be happy, because that girl has been through the fucking ringer on this show time and time again, and all they ever do is shut her out. Like, all they ever do is not really check in on her, not like try and be there for her. But what does she do every time? She shows up for them every time. So yeah, I thought that was really sweet, like her being able to see them, but also really like sad. Sabrina came back and she put her boyfriend Nick into Jughead's body. I know, just stay with me. And anyway, so they were having this real emotional moment, which for me, I didn't get. I've not seen Sabrina. I don't know who this Nick man is. I thought her boyfriend in that show was Ross Lynch. And I'm pretty sure he's not called Nick. Unless he is. Is he? No, I don't think he is. So I was confused. Maybe I like should go back and watch Sabrina, so then I can be a bit more in the know, and then maybe that scene will have some real impact. But like, I want to know, if you do watch Sabrina, whatever this thing was, like her and Nick, obviously Nick's in Jughead's body, but like they're kind of like last day, kiss goodbye, I think, kind of thing. Like, for you, was that a fulfilling ending? Because I know that Sabrina was cancelled, but I don't know if it got like a good finale, or if it was more of like a rush thing, or it ended on a cliffhanger. I don't really know anything about it. So like, for you, is this a fulfilling ending to whatever the Sabrina Nick thing was, or does it feel like a cop-out and not feel real because it's not actually the actor that played him and it's like Jughead? I want to know, like, is that like, or is it a kind of thing where you're so invested in Sabrina and Nick that even though it's like a different actor, it's still like good? Another thing that I thought was really sad as well was Reggie, because I'd said in my previous video that I was kind of sick of Reggie kind of like flip-flopping, like being like, oh, he's like for the good guys and then he's for the bad guys, like, which was fine with Hiram. Like, for me that was kind of like a, oh, no way, like Reggie works for Hiram. But then when it was Percival as well, I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so when he had the like the doll, the conscious doll thing, anyway, but it was when they were talking, I don't know if it was Percival that said it to him, or if he said it like because of the whole thing, that Reggie has kind of always wanted to like be the hero, which I thought was really sad, because he's always kind of been second best to Archie, like, and he even said that to Veronica, like when they were kind of going through their struggles, you know, he said like it's always been me and Archie, and then me, and then back to Archie, and then like it always seems like she loved Archie more, which is, yeah, just really sad, the fact that he's always kind of wanted to be the hero, whereas like Archie is always the hero. yeah, I just thought that was a shame. I feel like Reggie needs his moment in the sun. He really does. I also feel like in the Sweet Hereafter, when like people obviously went in, I think the fact that Tony and Archie were the two that were gonna like just kind of come back on their own accord, like they were getting ready to come back, I think definitely says a lot about their characters, and how they are just genuinely like good through and through, and just are always going to do the right thing. I thought that was really sweet, and that it wasn't just Archie. I liked that as well, that it wasn't just Archie who was going to step up. Like Tony as well was like, you know, I think maybe Cheryl is right, like maybe we should go back. Also, baby Anthony being immortal, I mean, sometimes with this show, honestly. But anyway, so that was why it turned out that Percival wanted baby Anthony so bad, because I don't know what he's going to do with him. I guess he was just going to like lock him up because he's immortal, he can't get rid of him, but he's like his match, if that makes sense, because, you know, we found out that Percival sold his soul to the devil, follow with me now, but then like also asked for immortality or something like that. So then he, like, the devil could never claim his soul, basically, was the gist. And because Anthony is immortal, he is also gonna live for as long as Percival does, and then they're kind of like destined to be like clash forever, pretty much. Or like Anthony was kind of the only person that could take him down. And I thought that was kind of interesting, because I'd kind of been waiting for them to say like what was the deal with baby Anthony, because it's been like so many episodes now where it's like he wants baby Anthony, or like, you know, like he wants a deal to get baby Anthony, and it's like, why? But him being immortal, I guess it makes sense. When Cheryl brought back Jason and Polly, my jaw dropped. Like I was just like no fucking way. I thought that was great. I thought that was so good, and I thought it was cute to see that they are together like in the Sweet Hereafter, because we never got to see them together, and I just thought that was so cute that they like found their way back to each other there, and like were raising their kids there and everything like that. I thought that was really sweet. Tabitha tells Veronica that basically Archie's up for grabs. Like she basically says that in every like scenario it's basically 50-50 who ends up with Archie. Like who is endgame, Barchi or Varchi, is literally 50-50, which is just like why? Just why? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the love triangle. I've had enough. I mean, we're going to talk about the series finale, so I guess it's irrelevant now, but when I was like watching it, I was like, it just doesn't make sense, because in order for that to happen with how they were, like when she told her that, it would destroy Betty and Veronica's friendship, which is already like pretty like not really a thing anymore anyway, which I think is really sad, because that was one of my favorite things about early Riverdale. And also then like ruin Betty and Archie, like, and all for what? Like literally all for what? Like Betty and Archie are good together. And then Tabitha is Riverdale's guardian angel, which I thought was kind of cute. Honestly, I was kind of here for it. I love Tabitha. She's one of my favorites. I think she's such a sweetie, and it felt like kind of weirdly fitting for her. Like the Jughead with the mind reading didn't really fit him too well, I didn't think. Betty being able to like see evil people, I guess made sense. Veronica being poisonous didn't really make sense. Tabitha being the guardian angel of Riverdale, I just thought that was so sweet and like real thing for her. I thought Betty and Polly's like reunion was cute, like the fact that she actually got to like see her was sweet. I kind of would have liked to have seen Betty's face when Cheryl actually told her, but then obviously her fainting when she saw her kind of said it all. I kind of feel like, does anyone else feel like this, that Jughead's character feels so far removed from his original character? Like, to me, Betty still feels like Betty. Archie still feels like Archie to a certain extent. Veronica, Cheryl, Tony, like they are all still like they're kind of like core characters, whereas Jughead to me feels different. Like he doesn't seem like Jughead anymore, and that's like I'm not really, that's not really like a negative thing or a positive thing, but I just feel like that, but I don't really feel any kind of way about it. It's just kind of something that I've noticed. Honestly, watching this one, my brain was so scrambled. So they're going to Rivervale and they're speaking to Jughead, but they can't. Like, I literally said it. I was like, I think Riverdale and Rivervale are going to become like they're going to interact again. And so it was kind of cool to see that I was right. Also, like, Percival was all like doing that weird interview with Alice. He was all in his feels about them trying to kill him, like, but if you're gonna try and summon the devil, like, I think they're probably gonna try and like take you out. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was literally acting like he was wrongfully accused. Like, no, you were literally trying to become evil. I thought that Betty being forgiven by Polly was a really sweet moment, because obviously we saw that whole thing go down and how awful she felt and that they had fought before she left, and I just thought that was really nice for Betty as well, because she's obviously been struggling since season 1, or maybe a little bit later, maybe like season 2 or 3, with the whole like darkness and like feeling like she maybe isn't a good person. So I thought that was sweet that, you know, she had that chance now for Polly to forgive her. Later on in the episode, Betty becomes not evil, because she, like, when she looked in the mirror, she obviously saw like the red like aura thing, so she thought she was a threat. But then Polly washes her feet. Polly washes her feet, and then she isn't evil anymore. So that's great for her. I was getting a little bit tired of it though. Like with the Percival, like come on now, I've had enough. And especially with Kevin's dad being evil, and I don't even care for Archie's uncle, but like him being evil as well, like I was just like, I've had enough. So then, yeah, Cheryl said that the whole reason for the ghost train was to bring people from the Sweet Hereafter into Riverdale for this big battle thing that he was obviously planning. So Archie goes and blows up the tracks, and which I thought honestly would have been kind of interesting. Like, you don't see that, but like if there had been other people from the Sweet Hereafter, people like oh my gosh, who was the girl in one of the first people to die? I want to say Midge. And then who else have we had? Betty's dad, Veronica's dad. I feel like that would have been really cool. Obviously, I guess with all the actors, like it would have been hard to get them to just come in for just the one episode. But I thought that would have been crazy, like having to actually fight. Like, it's one thing to fight against obviously like Alice and Frank and Mr. Keller, because you know they're being brainwashed, but to fight against like people that have died, like, and you've mourned them, and then to see them back would be such a crazy emotion in itself. But then to have to fight them, like, that would have been crazy. Also, Polly tells Betty, she's like, forgive yourself for falling out of love with Jughead. How are you going to put them back together after that? She literally just admits she didn't love him anymore. But I feel like it's going to happen, and I'm going to be angry when it does. So yeah, basically everything we saw in Rivervale is canon. Like, everything that we saw, all the weird creepy stories, and Archie. But then Archie was there. Like, the parallel version of him was there, but then he died in Rivervale. When did he come back? Okay, now I'm confused. Anyway, I think that stuff's like supposed to be canon, right? Because it's in a separate universe, but it's just like running alongside our Riverdale. So then I'm just going to read this as it is, because I feel like I'm going to get confused. So, Jughead from Rivervale, right? I can't remember exactly what happened in the episode, but basically the devil said to him, he was like, oh, do you want to be like a famous writer? Or do you want like Riverdale to survive, I think was like the deal that he made or something. So then he said like, and then you have to like write forever, but you can never be famous or something like that. And he took the deal to write in the bunker forever, and that's that, right? But then, so that is true, and that is what's happening. But then there's another Jughead. So like, so the other Jughead made the same deal. So where's the third Jughead from? Like, if you've got Riverdale Jughead, and then the Jughead that is in the bunker, and then the Rivervale other Jughead, the one that like, anyway, this other one, Rivervale Jughead, he took the other side of the deal. He made a deal with the devil that he would be famous, but he could only write morbid comics, okay? And so he is writing this superhero comic, and that is how the people from Riverdale got their powers, was that this Rivervale Jughead is writing the story. Like, he's writing about the superheroes of that, and then there was like a bit of a slip, like they're starting to like drag into each other, right? So the stories from that started happening in Riverdale, and that is how they all got their superpowers. And he's basically says, I have to like kill them at the end, like that's the whole point. It has to be like morbid characters. My next issue, I'm gonna kill superheroes off, basically. So they're like, you can't do that because that's gonna be us, and whatever. So then they go to the devil and ask him about Percival, basically. And you know, the devil says, you moving Pops. So obviously before they took Pops down and moved it, right, so that Percival couldn't destroy it, actually was a mistake, because Pops is a hellmouth. And so when they like took Pops away, it like unplugged it, and it's been like fueling Percival's evil, which is just crazy. But like, it also kind of makes sense, because like obviously Pop is such a big character in Riverdale. Like, he was a huge character in Riverdale for ages, and like is a like real sweet like sign of faith in humanity kind of character, right? And so's Tabitha. And because Pops, they've talked so many times about like Pops and how it is historically significant and how it's always been a place of good, and we saw that in Tabitha's time traveling episode. So it makes sense to me that Tabitha Tate, inheritor of Pops, is the guardian angel of Riverdale, because that kind of ties in with the fact that she is linked to Pops, and that Pops is kind of, again, a symbol of good, and the thing that was trying to keep the evil out. Like, the fact that they're paired up like makes perfect sense. And yeah, so it's where Percival was left to die that day, and then we made the deal with the devil and everything, right? So that's how it links to him. And then Ethel was back, and we saw Ethel again, and she was just obviously, you know, pining after Jughead, as always. And she figured out that the reason that there's been like a kind of crossover, or like a cross-contamination of universes, if you will, is because that phone call that Betty got, like saying like get out of the house or whatever it was, when there was the bomb, that was Jughead from Rivervale. So he wanted to warn Betty about the bomb so that she didn't die. And that is why there is this weird like universes linking into each other. And so Jughead from Riverdale and Tabitha are watching Ethel and Jughead from Rivervale like argue about this, and it's so freaking awkward. And she's basically like, you've screwed everything up, and you created this like glitch in the universes all because you still love Betty, you can't let it go, like all this stuff. And obviously Tabitha's like but then yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. Reggie's dad and Kevin, I think it is, were all like trapped Percival kidnapped them, and then Jughead managed to get them out by making a pool, because he makes pools now, by the way. That's how they got into Rivervale. And was it saving them from, Percival was literally going to behead them on TV. Crazy stuff. But they were fine. So then, like I said, because Archie blew up the train tracks for the ghost train, Percival was big pissed. So he instead, after Kevin and Reggie's dad were saved, he killed Alice, Frank, and Mr. Keller instead. We didn't see that. I think that would have been quite gruesome. So it was kind of obvious that they were going to be coming back, but I also was like, Jesus Christ, like that is brutal. So anyway, yeah, at the end of it, Cheryl uses her Phoenix powers, which is actually pretty cool, to bring everyone back from the dead, right? But then she also brought back Polly and Jason, and I was like, and honestly with that one, I think that was either that was like the third from the end, I think. I was genuinely invested. Like genuinely, I was invested. I thought it was one of the best ones I'd seen for ages. I thought it was so good. It had this real horror element to it that I loved. I felt tense. It was good. It was really good. This is now the penultimate episode. So season 6, episode 21. Again, loved it. I thought it was so good. When they were all being like chased. So obviously Bay was being chased by Glenn, the zombie version, and she had the chainsaw. I thought that was 10 out of 10. I thought that was so good. Like the horror element, just, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Veronica outsmarting her possessed grandmother. The tension between Reggie and Archie, and if he was actually going to be able to like kill him, or maybe Archie would have to kill Reggie to stop him from killing him. And then Cheryl having to kill Jason, I thought was so sad again. But also just that having to like accept that he truly cannot come back. Bless her heart, she's really been through it. So I'm not shied away from the fact that I haven't been the hugest fan of this whole superpowers thing, right? And I feel like it can be a little bit hard to follow at times. But the way that they defeated Percival, I thought it was 10 out of 10. I thought it was so good. Like, it was well thought out. Everything made sense. Everything clicked into place. I thought, this is genius. Like, I thought, this is actually genius. And I was like, this is so good. Like, when I was watching it, I was, again, like I said, I was invested. I was like, I was obsessed. I thought, oh my god, like this is one of the best Riverdale episodes I've seen in ages. You know, with the way that they were all stood outside, and then like the tension of like, oh my god, he's really like defeated them all. Like, how are they gonna do this? To, you know, him stepping through the door, and then it was a portal into Rivervale, and then all the characters from Rivervale, like when Jughead was like in his mind, like rooting around and distracting him so that the characters in Rivervale could kill him, and then it like panned around to all of them. Goosebumps. I thought it was banging. I thought it was so good. It's, when I explain it, it sounds so convoluted and so nuts. I loved it. I thought it was great. The time changed then. Tabitha, because they were obviously where Percival was that day that he met the devil, she takes him right back in time to that place, and then he's not immortal anymore, and the devil is like, you know, I don't like when people cheat me. So then he like got rid of Percival, but not before Percival could, he basically uttered this spell. I just thought it was so smart. I was genuinely excited to see them win. I thought it was so smart. I didn't have that feeling of like, oh right, thank god this is over, right, let's move on to the next one. Like, it genuinely felt like a satisfying ending of that, all that Percival stuff, which I didn't think I would think, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't think I would get kind of like enjoyment out of it, because I was just kind of a bit bored with him by the end. I was right about the Riverdale versions of the Rivervale versions of the characters like coming back to help. Which I did actually enjoy, but yeah, I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool. So honestly, for me, I feel like the couples that we have now, they honestly work for me. I can't lie. Like, I have become genuinely invested in Tabitha and Jughead. In the beginning, I wasn't too fussed. I've always liked Tabitha, but I wasn't too fussed about their actual relationship. I always found them a bit meh. But now I'm invested. Now I'm on the train, and it's gonna make me even more angry when they reunite Bughead. I think they're really good together, and honestly, Tabitha made me like Jughead again, because I had completely gone off him, to be fair, like after the time jump. So she, yeah, made me like him again. And I just don't think, it just wouldn't make sense to split them up. I'd be so upset. I really liked seeing different characters interact too. I thought that was fun, like obviously seeing the group as a whole together again, but then, you know, you have like Reggie and Cheryl. Like, I thought that was cute. That was a little duo we've not really seen before. Archie and Tony, Tabitha and Betty. Like, I like seeing everyone interact and just getting something a bit different other than like the combinations that we always have. I feel like this might be a little bit of a controversial take, and after seeing the season finale, I have kind of gone back on this a tiny bit, just a tiny bit. They might have won me back just a tiny bit, but when I was watching the penultimate one, I was just thinking, like, with Cheryl and Tony, I'm kind of at a point with them now that I got to with Ross and Rachel, Dan and Serena, you know, the will they won't they people. Because I feel like I wanted them to be together so bad, and I loved them when they were together, and then when they broke them up after the time jump, I thought it was cheap, to be honest with you. I thought it was a cheap shot. And then when they just weren't, and I was still rooting for them to get back together, but then after it had been so long, I kind of had started to not miss them so much. And not in a sense of like I didn't want them to be together, because I love them together. Like, they're my favorite pairing for each other, easy, and we all know that I don't really care for Fangs. But I think I just struggle because I want them back together, but only if it actually makes sense. Like, I want it to make sense for the plot, and obviously with Veronica being married and having a kid. Honestly, I shipped Cheryl and Veronica back when they were business partners. I've just always thought there was a little bit of sexual tension there, I'm not gonna lie. And so when I saw the promo, I was like, I know Riverdale's game. This is not gonna be like what it looks like. But honestly, the idea of them actually being canon and being a couple, I loved. I think they're a really good match, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that would be really, really good. So then on to the finale. So we had Alexandra from Katie Keene, which I always love to see characters from Katie Keene. Bring Lucy Hale back, I love that show. And she was basically offering Tabitha to franchise Pops, which is cool. Like, that is really cool. Abigail's like ghost in the box, like, it was literally like mirror mirror on the wall. Like, when she was like in that little like ghosty like apparition of her, like, and they were talking to it, I was like, Jesus Christ. And I knew it as well when I saw Tony and Cheryl in, like, I don't know if it was in the preview or some, like, they posted a behind the scenes picture or something like that. I was like, it's not gonna be what we all want it to be. Fully teased a reunion, and it's not even their souls in the bodies. It's Abigail and Thomasina, which I actually really liked their storyline, like in the Rivervale episodes. I thought they were really cute. So yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, it kind of reignited my love for Cheryl and Tony, I can't lie. They've got me hooked again. Also, Tabitha looks so gorgeous in this episode, like all the girls always do. And I really loved Betty's outfit and Veronica's, and like Cheryl is just always looking gorgeous. But yeah, Tabitha she looked so pretty. And like when she was talking to Jughead and Pops, like about Titanic and stuff, I just thought that was so cute. So basically, I didn't even say, the spell that Percival was saying, as like before he died, was to direct the Bailey's comet, the thing that like was going to give them all this power, to direct it so that it heads for Riverdale, hits Riverdale and obliviates them. And he also put like a kind of spell barrier kind of thing over Riverdale so that people can come in but no one can get out. And anyway, so they think it's the end of the world pretty much. And Cheryl figures out through the help of Abigail in the mirror or the box or whatever it is, she can melt the meteor, well, or like the comet or whatever it is, as it gets closer. But they're not entirely sure if it's going to work. And also, because she used her Phoenix powers to bring back the dead, if she uses so much of her power that she starts to lose it, any of those people that came back from the dead are up for grabs for going back to the sweet hereafter. So anyway, Archie decides that he... Also, it was nice to see Archie's mum again, Molly Ringwald. She was such a big like character in the beginning, so it's nice to see her back again. So because everyone basically thinks they're gonna die, Archie decides to propose to Betty, which I thought was so cute. And it literally just parallels like when they were kids and he asked her to marry him. But she's like, you know, I don't want to do it. You shouldn't do it. Kind of like out of fear, I guess, or for trying to like be the hero and just all the time. So she's like, you know what, ask me when the meteor's gone and we're all safe. And he's like, okay. And Betty talks to Agent Drake and she basically says to her, she turns down this job for the FBI, like their serial killer department or something, I think she said. And Betty turns it down. She says that she, you know, wants for her life to be bright and to be full of light and all this stuff, and she wants to be happy. And I thought that was so cute. Like, I loved that for her because I feel like she's been fighting this darkness for so long, like I said before. So for her to just genuinely be happy and to just choose like the light path, which is just to marry Archie and like just be genuinely happy and not so focused on the dark stuff all the time. I thought that was such a nice moment for Betty's character. And when Archie said, I'm gonna break through that barrier so that I can marry Betty Cooper, I loved it. How can they break them up? How can they do it? Also, when Reggie and Veronica were talking and then Reggie was like, you know, maybe we could like try and get back together, and she said no, like my heart, because I loved them together so much. I thought it was such a good match. But her, you know, gifting him the casino, I thought that was a really nice touch. I thought that was really sweet. And you know, her saying that she wants to work on herself and, you know, do some dating and work on her friendships and all that stuff, you know, and work on herself if they survive. I thought that was really good. And that is why I also don't want her and Archie to just get back together, because it will be nice to see Veronica have some single time where she is genuinely happy in herself, working on herself, you know, like just living her best. I want to see that. I want to see that far more. Also, I was loving Archie's hair. I thought it was great. Okay. Not gonna lie, from this point onwards, I don't think, well, I think I've cried at Riverdale a couple times actually, that would be a lie, but not in one episode have I cried multiple times, and in this one I did. I don't know what was going on with me, but when Tabitha was like, we only need 1 minute, and they did that, they showed her, like her and Jughead with their kids, and then with their kids when they were older, and then them like old. I literally cried. I literally, tears fell out. I was like, that is the cutest shit I've ever seen. And that solidified it to me. I was like, these two have to end up together, have to grow all together. And then when it got back to them and it was like the tear because they'd seen it, and like, that was so good. That was so good. I loved it. And then I cried again. And then I cried again when Betty proposed to Archie. Because I just thought that was so sweet and such a nice, just such a nice way to do it, because obviously he had proposed and it always kind of felt, we saw that she wasn't maybe too sure, and she wasn't sure if she was worthy, or not worthy, but like was a good enough person like to deserve kids and to deserve Archie and the whole marriage and everything like that. So I thought it was so sweet that she was the one that asked him. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. And I don't want them to ruin it. So yeah, basically Veronica worked out that she could, through their blood, take everyone's powers and then give them to Cheryl through a kiss. That's where their kiss came from. Rolling the eyes, because they would have been such a good couple. And then, and she's literally in her Scarlet Witch era, like the way that she came out in this like Scarlet Witch outfit and all this stuff ready to take down this comet. And then this song came out of nowhere and I was a bit like, really? I was like, we couldn't have gone through this finale without, there had to be a song. I was like, we got so close. But then I cried again. I don't know, something was in the air today. Everyone has such beautiful voices, and like the song itself was beautiful. I'd not heard it before, like the lyrics and the emotions, and like seeing everyone, like, you know, like Betty and Archie together, and, you know, Reggie and Veronica, even if it was just as friends, and Cheryl, and like, and Jughead and Tabitha sat with Pop, and like, that was the best. I didn't realise I was so emotionally invested, but I've been watching this show for a long time. This show's amazing. I literally don't even care. I don't even care. I'll say it with my whole chest. It is good. So here's where things take a turn. So basically the twist is that they are safe and everything is fine, but in order for the things to be fine, they had to go back to a simpler time, and they're in the 50s, right? Which aesthetically makes sense, because the Archie comics, that's the whole vibe, like they're from the 50s and like working their way up. That's like when it started. You know, you've got the sweaters with their initials on them, or, you know, like everything is all retro and like how it looks in the comics. So I think that's cool, like that's totally good. But I just felt like, and apparently Jughead is the only one that knows that this is what happened. Like everyone else is oblivious, just living their lives now, but Jughead knows everything, right? Like, it's cool that we get to see the characters they are in the comics, but is this literally what the whole of season 7 is gonna be? Like, the whole concept of like a whole reset of everything. Literally nothing we watched for the past 6 seasons happened. I mean, obviously Jughead knows, but the sweet moments between all the other characters that Jughead doesn't know anything about, those things just don't exist anymore. Like, and everything they've gone through didn't happen, and it's basically the equivalent of the "it was all a dream" thing, but worse. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. Like, we saw like Betty and Archie and Jughead, like, and James Dean died. Like, it's the day after James Dean died, and oh, I don't know, it's all just very bizarre. So they had me. I was like, this show is banging, this show is so good. And then they almost lost me again. I don't know. I'll have to see what it's actually like when season 7 comes out. And it's the final season. Like, I want it to be really good. Like, I want a satisfying ending, and they can kind of just do whatever the fuck they like, because that's what they do all the time. And also, because the guy that writes Riverdale, he kind of does this a lot. Things like, it's obviously modern, like they have phones and everything, but then, you know, they hang out in a retro diner, and sometimes they dress kind of retro and these kinds of things, and that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening in the new Pretty Little Liars that he's written as well. Go and watch my video on that. So that's kind of like his thing. It's kind of fun because then you can play around with stuff. But if you're actually saying that the characters now live in the 50s, how are you playing that? Because if you're doing it purely just for the aesthetic and everything like that, feels a bit unnecessary to me. Because if you're saying they live in the 50s, like, I don't really get why, you know, like, what's gonna happen with Tony and Tabitha and Cheryl and Tony? Like, it kind of seems a bit weird to take the show back to a time like that, unless they're just kind of playing it as like, oh, it's just the aesthetic of the 50s and like that vibe, like not the values and the society how it was in the 50s, because it's not really gonna work with a lot of the characters that we have. So that's a bit weird. Obviously Veronica like moved to New York, moved to Riverdale from New York, so does she live in New York at the minute? They are teenagers again, like we're literally going back to the beginning. Does that mean that Veronica's gonna now be the new girl again? Does it mean that Jason's alive? So many questions, and I feel like I'm not gonna like the answers. It just gives them also a way to reset the couples, just to reset everything, and I just don't like that. I really hope that it's like this is how it's happened, but then they find a way like back, or their memories start to come back and they start to remember each other again, or because it can't all be for nothing. I've been on this journey for too long to have it end with no one remembering anything. Because bloody hell, I remember it all. I'm excited for season 7 if they do it right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Let me know what you kind of want for season 7. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. I'm also planning, let me know if you like the idea, of doing a Riverdale kind of summary, catch up, deep dive kind of thing on seasons 1 to 6. I mean, I guess I've kind of already done season 6, but even so, maybe I'll still include it like before season 7 comes out, maybe. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, as I've already said, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.